I'm very pleased to present my friend Matt Lee. Matt is a homegrown usability expert, having honed his skills working at Microsoft, Amazon, Zappos, and now Booking.com, where he heads up the mobile research efforts, blending research techniques from the human-computer interaction, usability, and marketing research. One thing remains his passion, his love of learning how people interact with products. Matt, it has been said of Matt that he makes research look easy with his flexibility, moderation skills, and ability to assess complicated data to produce clear and accurate product recommendations. Matt is a research junkie who believes that we can't just do research from our desks. His talk will inspire you to get out of the office and discover just how valuable your research will become as a result. After all, the world is your playground. Ladies and gentlemen, Matt Lee.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Jeff, thanks for inviting me. First of all, thank you all. I've made so many friends here. Who had a great time last night at the party? All right. So, this is my talk, and I just want to kind of give you guys all a little bit of background of doing research at larger organizations and seeing how you can maybe transform that and translate that to your companies as well. So, first of all, a little bit about me. I'm a usability goofball. That's what I am. I'm a ham. I like to joke around. So please laugh. Please enjoy this. Don't take this too seriously. But, you know, originally, I was born and raised in Hawaii. So, does anyone know one of the interesting facts about Hawaii is it is one of the most isolated spots on the world, on the earth. So, what would, having grown up here, had to put a hula girl up, and for the boys, or for the girls, I had to put a boy up. What is a person from the most isolated spot in the world know about anything around the world? And I thought, Hawaii is a great place. Hawaii was a melting pot. Hawaii combines a lot of cultures from Portuguese, Chinese, Japanese, Asians, white people, everything from around the world. So we know people, and we're really trying to humanize everything. We want to know, we want to combine everything into one kind of melting pot. So I thought, you know, that was a great start. Where am I? There. This is my first computer. So I've been in this industry for a long, long time. But I just want to give you a little background of what kind of inspired me to get into this whole research field. So this was actually my first research project. My first research project was to work for a small used tire company and do surveys. They were being sued by a large conglomerate, and what I was tasked to do was to actually go out, sit for 3 months, and talk to people and ask them what did they think about this company. When this case went to court, the other company came up with all these huge methodologies and experts saying this is this and this is why the company should be sued and this is why they should win the lawsuit. And we came up with our little data. And we said, I talked to 100 people, and I said, they don't think this way. We won the case instantly, and that kind of got me thinking, is it really about people and their opinions, or is it about some expert saying this is how we do things? And that kind of got me moving into all the other facets of research, and I actually was lucky enough to work at a few small companies. So, I don't know, I worked at a small company called Xbox, a little one called Amazon, Zappos, and now I'm over here at Booking.com. But here's what I want to talk to you about. The crux of my whole presentation is to really tell you how these companies are using research to really understand their customer so that you guys can go out and do it yourself. You don't have to spend a lot of money. You can if you are big organizations like this, but you don't have to spend all that money. You can actually do it on the cheap. You can just grab your iPhone and with a camera and go out into the field and talk to your customers. And hopefully these examples that I show you will kind of inspire you that way. So I worked on the first Xbox Live. We created the online user experience for the original Xbox. And what the problem here was, this was the first console. that you actually had to network. This is the first console that you actually had to plug an Ethernet cable into. So you had to understand these are gamers, these are people that, should know computers, but now you have to add a whole networking component to it. So what do? Do we go into the lab? Do we go and, have 20 users come into the lab, sit there and watch them as they do that? Is that natural? We actually went out into the field. We went to their houses. We want to watch where they're placing these Xboxes. Are they on a counter? Are they under the TV? Are they on the side? How are these people situating the Xbox? And what are the challenges that they face when they network? Put that network cable from there, to wherever the modem is. It could have been in the office. We also had, does anyone know what a crossover cable is? So a few know what a crossover cable is. They don't really exist anymore. At this time, you have to use a crossover cable. Well, all a crossover cable is an Ethernet cable pretty much with the wires twisted on it. So you had to figure out a way to tell people and to translate what a network cable was instead of a crossover cable. So we had to go out and talk to them in the field. Kind of sidetracking from that, one of the things that you guys all may face in user research or in your designs is kind of something that I call the hippo effect. Does anyone know what the hippo is? Go ahead. What is it? What is the hippo? This isn't vodka. Ooh, sorry. Highest paid person's opinion. Does anyone know the movie Fantasia? This is what I think of the hippo. Highest paid person's opinion. How many people in their job interviews get, what happens when an executive counters your data and says, they want this, but your data says this? What is your answer? Like, how do we actually combat that? I mean, is there a real way to combat the hippo? I just want to kind of give some ideas of how you could do that. At Amazon, they have this thing called the empty chair. What they do is in every single conference room, in every single meeting, they have an empty chair sitting in the room. And does anyone know what that's supposed to represent? The customer. So the customer is always in the room. The customer, whether it's from the CEO level all the way down to a design meeting or scrum meeting, they always have to have one of these chairs in the room just to remind them that, yes, the customer does exist. They also do this thing called the newsletter and CXBR. So in every meeting for new ideas, the product manager has to write a newsletter. They have to write a newsletter like they're going to submit it to the newspaper, like a publication, and say, hey, this is the idea. This is why we think it's a good idea. This is who we're creating it for. And they actually have to have customer quotes. They actually have to say, I've talked to 10 customers, this is the idea, and this is why they want to do it. And then they also have one thing called the CXBR. CXBR, I have 20 minutes left? Okay, I just want to make sure. CXBR stands for Customer Experience Bar Raiser. So they have executives from all over the corporation who are on this board. And for every idea that Amazon has, they have to go through this program, and they have to vet it through these bar raisers to see, does it meet the customer experience? Does it meet the expectation of the customer? They're always trying to think of the customer, and they always want to think, customer first. Not that Amazon always gets it right, mind you, but at least they're trying. Who knows who Zappos is? Anyone? I actually saw someone using it in one of the presentations yesterday while the presentation was going on. But I was working at Zappos. I headed up the user research team over there. And just the ways that they do customer service is a different way in how to really reach the customer. So they have these 10 core values. The number one is delivering wow through service. So they care so much about the customer. Every employee at Zappos, by the way, Zappos is the Amazon subsidiary, but it's also the largest online shoe store in the world, I think. But you can't buy it in Europe. They only sell to the US. I'm sorry. But as a new customer or as a new employee, from the president on down to a regular customer service person, you have to go through training. You have to go through 30 days of customer service training, answering the phones, getting to know the customers. They think that's the only way that you're going to actually know who the customer is before you can be effective in the company. So, like here, this is every graduating class has to, go through this. We have, me here, all the way down to customer service agents. There's actually the VP in this group as well. It doesn't matter who you are. That helps to get rid of that hippo effect, because I would talk to customer service people because they were my friends. I spent 30 days with them talking, answering phones, and now they have no problem, no hesitation to come and talk to me and say, hey, Matt, this and this is wrong with the site. How do we fix it? That's another way we can get rid of the hippo effect. And then lastly, I was just going to talk quickly about Booking.com. So Booking.com is, I guess, the planet Earth's largest hotel booking site in the world, is, I guess, what they call it. We do regular usability tests. We have our own lab. So yes, we do spend a lot of money. It looks pretty and everything like that. But this is our customer base. Our customer base is around the world. We are in 40 different languages. We have 120 offices around the world. We have to account for every single possible customer, and we can't do it from Amsterdam. So we go out, we go around the world. We talk to, I think last quarter we went and talked to people in every single continent except for Africa. And this is not a very large team, this is a 7-person team. So we're flying all around the world. I've been to Australia, New Zealand, Shanghai in 3 months that I've been there. But what they really want to focus on is that customer, that natural customer. How do we talk to that customer? The natural testing that we don't do any task-based testing. We do naturalistic testing, so there's no tasks. There is free flow. We only use the live site. We really want to get to the crux of why people are having the issues, what are their real problems, and then going into their house. We have to also test on every single device. We have an M dot, we have a T dot, we have a mobile app, tablet app, iOS, Android. Thinking of all those different platforms, times by 40-something different languages, times by all around the world, it becomes crazy. So, the last thing I want to do to kind of really wrap this up is talk about how we can get out of the office, how to do field studies so that you can actually get that natural feel for the customer, and understand what their pains are. These are some examples of some field study participants. And what is the first thing that you notice from these pictures? What was that? Zappos? Oh, white circles because they're just for anonymity's sake, because they are real participants and we always respect them and we don't want to show their faces. But what we can show here is people don't actually use their computer in an office lab. They actually use it in a different way. This lady here is using it on her coffee table. This gentleman up there was actually using it in his sunroom. And then the most interesting one was, this mother and daughter team here. We recruited the lady, we recruited the mother. And halfway through the session, she's like, oh, this isn't how I normally shop. Well, how do you normally shop? She says, well, my daughter is the one that I'm shopping for. She usually is sitting next to me. I'm like, where's your daughter? Oh, she's just upstairs. So the daughter comes downstairs, and they just go on for 3 hours. The mother is over there typing away, doing the navigating on the computer, and the daughter's over there looking at, Jessica Simpson pumps and this and that and this, and it was amazing. You would not get that in the lab. You would never get that sitting a person down in front of a two-way mirror with a lab, camera over their shoulder, and giving them tasks to do. You have to get out. You have to do that naturalistic testing. We do it The reason why I brought those 4 examples from the 4 companies up is Xbox. We had to go out. We had to go and talk to the customers. If you want to find me later, there's some great Xbox stories of interesting field studies, and I'm sure all of you have your interesting participants that you've had over the years. At Amazon, we also do holiday shopping. So every holiday season, before Christmas, we would go into people's houses and watch them shop for Christmas. And that would kind of prioritize the work for the next year. That would identify what areas do we want to improve for the next coming year. At Zappos, we did the same thing. We did it in a holiday shopping study. We also did it for different verticals. So if they wanted to shop for clothes or if they wanted to shop for shoes, how are those experiences different? How do I buy a pair of shoes online when I can't touch and feel it? How do I, look at this material on the shirt and see if this is what I really want? And you can't really find those answers unless you actually get into the field and start talking to people, and then watching them, and then becoming their friends, and being there when the package arrives at the door, and seeing them as they open the box and saying, wow, this is exactly the shittiest packaging I've ever seen. That happens. And then now at Booking, now we're going to do it on a worldwide scale. So every time we go out to usability test in a different location, we now have to also add on a few field studies so that we can try to understand naturalistically how people are doing it in their home environment. So to sum up, remember the hippo, and this is how we kind of want to counteract it. And hopefully, I've inspired you guys to do a little more research. And are there any questions?